evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fight for Our Freedom Radio. And I'm your host, Badbaby. And tonight we have with us Scott from the Nibiru channel and Robert Evans, and we are going to be updating you on Planet X. Okay, everybody, I am having a problem with my board here, so bear with me because my screen is not allowing me to scroll down, and it's not allowing me to unmute you guys. So, hold on, give me a second here. Let me see if I can work with it. Oh, technical little problem here. Otherwise, I won't be able to get my guests unmuted. Let me see if I can just unblock everybody. Hold on here. This is to unmute all. Let's see. Sorry, you guys. I muted you all. Hold on. Now it's not letting me unmute y'all. Okay, I'll have to do it manually. I apologize, everyone. God, this is going to be a pain if I got to do this. Oh, and I can't get, it won't let me scroll down to unmute my guests. Just bear with me, I'm sorry. This is what happens when they don't want you out here to, let's see. Cancel. Allow chat. Okay, did that unmute everybody? Okay, just hang in there, you guys. I will get to you. I just I'm going to have to do something here. Sorry about this. I should have kept you unmuted, Robert. Just give me 1 second here, you guys, and I'll get to you. It's just, this has happened to me before. They've done something to my screen where I can't get down to the bottom of the screen. So I have to go over to my display and make it smaller. Okay, I've got to log out and log back in, so just bear with me. I will be right back. This happens once in a while, so. And it usually happens when I have a high-profile show, so. Should be right back on in a second, you guys. I hope you're all still hearing me. If you're in the chat and you're muted, just hang in there. When I get back onto the screen, I will be able to unmute everybody. I'm really apologizing for what's going on. I kind of figured I would have a hard time tonight. And also, if you get knocked out of the room or you lose your sound, just refresh your window, because they do that. People will be writing me in the chat room saying, I can't hear. Just log out and log back in, and you will get your sound back. Let me sign into the chat. I should be back. Okay, I'm back in. All right. Now I should be able to scroll, you guys. See, they'll do this to me so that I don't have control. So just hang in there. I'm unmuting y'all as fast as I can. I get down to the bottom here. I should find my guests. Okay. We're getting there. Okay, Robert.
Yay! Yes, I've been hearing you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, honey. I'm trying to find Scott. Hold on. Let me see if I can find him. Scott,
I'm not going anywhere.
8. I've got so many people coming in the window. I can't keep everybody unmuted. I can't keep up with unmuting everyone. Scott, if you're on the phone, would you push *8, please, to raise your hand? I don't see him. He was going to try to use his computer to call in, and I told him people have problems with that. If you're calling in through the computer, Scott, it is not working. So you're going to have to call in with your phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you start out, Robert. And tonight we are going to update with a lot of information. We're going to give out a lot of information of places that you can buy things that are really discounted and how to prepare. So why don't you go ahead and start out, Robert? You do sound like you're a little bit a ways.
No.
Okay, that's a little bit better.
Okay, great. I'll put it even closer to my mouth. Okay, how's that?
I think we got Scott now. Hold on. Is this you, Scott?
Hello.
All right. Okay. Are you using the computer, honey?
Yeah, I finally got it to work.
Okay. You're showing up as interchange or something like that, interchange carrier.
Yeah, how's the reception?
Well, it's okay, but you do sound like you're a little bit off in the distance. Can you, do you have a microphone that you can get closer to your mouth, or?
Yeah, I actually have it right near my mouth.
Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, who wants to start?
Scott goes first.
All right, why don't you start out, and we'll mute ourselves right now and give you a chance to start.
Okay, well, over the past several weeks, we've actually had more and more sightings, photographs coming in from all over the world. One of the mysteries that we still haven't solved is this mysterious blue planet. It's kind of like a light aqua blue planet that's been showing up all over the entire world. I did a video on it the other day, and the photographs and the videos that are being sent into my YouTube channel are absolutely incredible. We do have a few people out there that are trying to debunk the photographs and the videos by saying that they are photographic anomalies, lens flares, things of that nature, but it's just not possible. You can't have cloud cover over a lens flare. And literally tens of thousands of people all over the world in different countries at different times and different intervals, all seeing the same thing. So this small blue planet has been showing up for the last several weeks. And matter of fact, I was actually going to ask Robert if he had any, any input on this small blue planet.
Okay, hold on. I've got Robert muted. Okay, Robert,
yes.
Do you have any input on the small blue planet for us?
Yes. The blue planet has been seen in our skies. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. The small blue thing has been seen in our skies since 2:15. I've got the photographs going back showing it. The Hopi people call it the blue Kachina. That it would be seen in our skies just before the red Kachina will have its full effect. The blue Kachina to the Hopis carries the two star brothers, which will dance in an open square to everyone, not just the Hopis. And they will take off their masks and they'll show everyone who and what they are. That's very clear first contact. So yes, I know, Scott. I've been seeing these photographs since April of 2015. They're getting larger and larger in our skies because Nibiru and its 13 satellites orbit clockwise through our solar system. The Earth is orbiting counterclockwise right towards them. That's why they're growing larger and larger and larger in our skies.
Well, and it is affecting our planet. Are you guys aware that we had 3 6-point earthquakes today?
Oh, I just screwed up.
Yes, down here in Chile.
Yeah, we had 2 6.2s and a 6.4.
Well, I'm sorry, Scott, Badbaby. Each one of these satellites has gravitational, electromagnetic pole. Each one will be different from the other. All 8 of these things are in our skies. They're affecting the Earth's crust. That's why we have the high volcanic activity right now. We have the earthquake activity. There's a whole bunch of other things that are coming down the pipe. Okay? And it was all laid out very clearly by Don Smaltz in the WikiLeaks email. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, I think we lost Scott. I heard him say I just screwed up, and his voice sounded like it was suppressed or something. So he has logged out. He's probably trying to call back in. So I think we lost him for a minute. So he'll be back with us. I don't know what he did. He might have been trying to turn his sound up or something. For everybody that's in the chat, if you're asking me a question and I don't get to it right away, just bear with me because I am busy unmuting people as they're coming into the window and guests are coming in left and right. So we are going to, for all the guests that are in the windows, towards the end of the show, if you would like to call in and push *8 and raise your hand. If you have any questions for our guests tonight, we are going to allow people to call in towards the end and raise your hand and ask questions. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that want to know different things. But why don't you get started, Robert, with, we're going to give out some information tonight of how to prepare, things that you should do to prepare for this.
I urge all of your listeners to do not panic. There will not be time for any panicking. All you can do is get prepared as fast as you can, and then you will have a fighting chance for survival. Get a nice backpack. Big Five, Target, whatever store you like to go to. Get a nice backpack with a frame. Something large enough we can put a lot of stuff in. Now, the average person will have a hard time carrying a backpack that weighs anywhere from 40 to 70 pounds. The U.S. military teaches their soldiers to go marching off into whatever with a 100 to 120 pound backpack. Okay, get water filter type things, emergency water filters. Get yourself a shortwave handheld radio. I have a Baofeng radio because when everything goes down, everyone will be switching on their shortwave radios. Get yourself a solar charger, solar-powered charger. Several on the market have a plug-in, a USB plug-in that goes into the charger, and you can buy different adapters which have almost every single plug, iPad plug all the way down. They'll plug right into the solar power charger USB port. If you have sun wherever you are, you'll have power charging. Here's another thing, very important. The human body needs salt. No ifs, ands, or buts. When you're sweating, your body is using the salt to allow your body to sweat. After a short period of time, like probably less than a day, you will die. No ifs, ands, or buts. You need salt. So I suggest that your listeners pick up several of those nice sea salt things on the market where you hand crank it. And here it is. McCormick sea salt grinder. Now I'm told that the average person needs a very small amount of this ground up salt in your palm of your hand, and you just lick it. Because if you're doing any heavy, strenuous work, you're sweating. Salt's getting out of your body that way. It allows your body to sweat. If you don't sweat, your body overheats and you're dead. No ifs, ands, or buts. Salt. All around the planet, you have to have salt. Everything you eat usually has a certain amount of sodium in it. Sodium is salt. The people over there in the Middle East, they used to get these huge blocks of salt, and they would lick it. Salt licks. Salt licks are put out on almost every farm for the cattle to lick because they need salt. The human body needs it. You'll die without it. Okay, so that's water filter, shortwave radio, salt, and whatever spices you want. Get that in that backpack as soon as possible. Okay, your solar power charger, so you can charge up your iPad, your computer, anything you're taking with you. All the telephones will be down. All the GPS modules will be down because all the satellites will be taken out. Heavy earthquakes, where you probably will not be able to drive unless you have a motorcycle or a good-sized car or truck with four-wheel drive. No ifs, ands, or buts. This thing has happened 3 times in human history. If any of your listeners have seen the movie 2012, near the end of the film, you see this Chinese monk up in his tower, He turns to his right, and here's the oceans coming over the mountains. Chinese Emperor Yao, believe it or not, 2900 BC, he saw something coming out of the constellation of Yin, possibly like Yin and Yang, the two people there up in the stars. This caused the oceans to top the high mountains of China. It took them 13 years to drain the salt water from the high mountain valleys back down to the rivers and out to the oceans. Then the emperor had to send out 4 teams. And they were looking for...
Let me ask you a question real quick, Robert. And I think Scott is back to join us again.
Okay.
Since there's going to be a lot of flooding or, water, do you think that, people should have...
a flotation device?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Some kind of flotation device?
Life preservers? Yes.
Now, they have life preservers that are, you pull a cord and they blow up by air. That would be the lightest
That'd
one
be
to
the
carry around,
fastest
don't
ones.
you think?
But those are most expensive, but yes, they're well worth it. They're self-inflating. That's where you pull the charge. There's a CO2 cartridge inside.
Yeah.
And inflate. Plus, there's a mouth device where you can separately keep trying to get blown higher and higher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So I'll shut up and I'll let Scott talk if he's back.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's get Scott out here. Is this you, Scott?
Sorry about that, guys. I got kicked off there.
I told you that tonight is going to be a hectic night. Look what happened at the beginning of the show. And the thing is, last time Robert was on, he got towards the end of the show, he got knocked out of here 3 times. So if you get kicked off, just dial back in. For all the guests that are coming in, if you you can't hear for some reason, you lose your audio, log out and log back in. You'll get your audio back. And just so everybody knows that's calling in, towards the end of the show, we are going to allow people to call in. Push *8, raise your hand, and you will be able to ask Scott or Robert any questions. Before I let Scott go here for a minute, I do want to make a couple comments. There are sites right now that I've been going to that are marking things down dramatically. And as far as that solar charger goes, I know the Jim Baker show was selling one that you can carry in a backpack. And it has a solar panel that unfolds and hooks onto your backpack so that while you're walking, it'll charge. They were asking $500 for it. They did mark it down to $250. I don't know whether they still have them because they were going to discontinue it. But that is a great deal. And it also had a jumper cable set up on it where it would actually jump your car. So that's one place you want to go to check out some of their survival things. They also had survival canteens that had iodine tablets come with it, and these canteens you can actually use to take water right out of a mud puddle, and it will purify it. It's called an extreme canteen, and it will take radiation out, which we will be dealing with radiation from the meltdown of the nuclear power plants. So go and check out what they have. Another site you might want to go to is Emergency Essentials. They are marking a lot of things down. They have the hand crank radio that Robert's talking about. Jim Baker also has the hand crank radio, and it is a solar radio also, and it also has a light on it. So there's many uses for that radio. Another site you might want to go to if you're going to stock up on emergency food, dehydrated food, is Augustin Farms. They have a lot of good deals on there. They only sell food, but Emergency Essentials has the backpack, it has the radio, they have all kinds of things. go in there and check their site out. They run a lot of specials. They're marking a lot of things down. So those are 3 places you might want to go to. So I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to let Scott go take us over.
Well, before I got off, Robert we were touching on the blue Kachina, and that is right when I got cut off. So, Robert, if you don't mind rehashing what you said there on the blue Kachina, because these photographs that have been coming in to my channel on YouTube, they've also been coming into Steve Olson's channel on WSO on YouTube. Me and Steve had a pretty long talk this afternoon pertaining to this blue planet, because he has about 50,000 subscribers, and he's been inundated with these photographs of this small blue planet. And like I said, over the past couple of weeks, I've been inundated with these photographs. And, I analyze them the best that I can. And like I mentioned, we have this one group of debunkers, the Nibiru Planet X debunkers. Everything that you put up there, they basically come at you and say, we're amateur astronomers, mathematicians, blah, 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 and this is all fake. Well, buy that, because like I said in my first statement, we have tens of thousands of people across this globe that are photographing the same thing. So basically, you're telling all of us that we're liars. We're imagining these things. Everyone has a photographic anomaly, and I'm just not buying it, because a lot of these photographs that I have shown in my videos of this blue planet, some of them have cloud cover over, a part of the planet. They're clear as a bell. So, Robert, if you don't mind touching again on what you were saying, because I got cut off right when you were talking about the blue Kachina, and I was actually thinking in the same lines that you were, that this is probably, what the Hopi Indians saw, and this was definitely in my mind. But if you could just touch on that for a minute so I can catch up to you guys before I got cut off.
Sure. Okay, the Hopi people talk about the blue Kachina, Kachina, that when it arrives in our skies, it will have the 2 star brothers, and the star brothers will dance in the plaza, not only just to the Hopi or the other races that we call Native Americans, but to everyone, the whites, everyone. They will take off their mask, showing everyone who and what they are. That's a very clear indication of first contact. No ifs, ands, or buts. The planet Nibiru has 13 satellites. Call them what you want. Dwarf planets, planetoids, whatever. We have the outermost 8 of them in our skies right now. One of them is this blue one. Now, we started seeing these things in the skies starting April 15th, 2015. They were being seen mostly over Europe, over the Middle East. I have photographs going back to that time of each one of these things. Okay? So there is a bluish-looking planet up there in our skies. There's also a greenish-looking planet up in our skies. There's also a very reddish-looking one in our skies. The red one has been causing all the problems to human history. Only the Hopi mentioned the blue one. The red one is something else completely. The ancient Egyptians knew it as the destroyer, a huge reddish object in our skies. The Hopis talk about the blue kachina. The Holy Bible describes wormwood as a huge reddish object. So I'll hand it back to you, Scott.
Yeah, I've been seeing the photographs also of this red planet. I got a few photographs the other day. One of our subscribers, she has a pretty powerful 35 millimeter camera. She's using regular 35 millimeter film, and it's not a digital camera. And she's an avid photographer, and she's from Germany, and she's been photographing this planet for quite some time. The photographs that she sent me the other day, they've been the clearest photographs that I've seen to date. And they were in one of my videos yesterday, and seems that it's getting closer and closer. And, we've had a lot of these individuals that say, well, if there was a planet so close to Earth in our solar system, we would be having all sorts of problems here on Earth.
Except for one big reason. We do not know how close they are to the Earth right now. Only the powers that be know that.
Exactly.
So these are probably good-sized planets, and we're seeing them from a distance, but we're seeing them very clearly from the ground. Now, as you mentioned, people on the ground are seeing them. People using telescopes are seeing them. People have been watching all of the observatories around the planet because they have nice videos and photographs all the time, and they're clearly seeing them from the observatories. So yes, we do not know how big these things are. We do not know how close they are or how close they will come. That's the big problem. But I can tell you this very clearly. The world's governments are all prepared for what's coming.
And they're really amping up the preparations, because I've seen quite a few videos where people are seeing convoys of trucks of Walmart and Kroger's and CVS Pharmacy and several trucks in a row. And someone videoed them going down, I think it was Interstate 75, and they followed them, and guess where they went? They went to one of the underground tunnels. So they're stocking those dumbs heavy right now, and they wouldn't be doing that if time's getting short. But one of the questions that I'm reading here in the chat is, when is this supposed to happen? None of us know when it's supposed to happen, but I really do like what David Meade has to say about it, because he lines it up with the constellation of the stars, and that's why I'm having him on next week, so that he can give us a timeline, because I really do think he does have a jump on the timeline of it. What do you think, Pat?
I've heard a few timelines. Dave Dobbs has been he's been producing a small model, a little computer model, and he's been documenting these flyby sightings. He's been actually doing a pretty good job at it. How much credibility there is to it, I guess we're never going to really know until the day of reckoning, But this one flyby, this young lady, I think she was in the Midwest. Her first name was Becky Lewis. She caught this absolutely phenomenal video. I think it was December 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And from that point on, Dave started to produce these, he started documenting these flybys, and he was trying to produce this model and a timeline. And I think it was on about 180 days or something of that nature that we would be seeing these flybys, give or take a week or so. And Dave has done some extensive work on this. I mean, he's dedicated all of his time and his life, like we all have, into trying to find the information so we can deliver our message to everyone else. And the last flyby that he had documented was right around the middle of October. And as far as this flyby being Nibiru, I can't put a positive ID on it.
Everything that all of my contacts are saying, they're all saying basically from now until April or May of next year.
Yeah, that's the same information that I've been getting. March, April, and possibly into May of 2017 is when things are going to get, they're going to get very true. I've heard some researchers, that have been in depth into this subject for quite a while, and they have some contacts that are giving them some credible information, and it's definitely looking like this upcoming spring. And based on what's happening to the Earth right now, I just cannot overlook all of the earthquakes that we've had this year already. I think we've toppled over 40,000 earthquakes. And that's what I was mentioning, that if there was something out there that was near the Earth that had a strong magnetic force that was tugging our tectonic plates, tugging on the Earth, yes.
Breaking up on us, Scott.
What's that?
Your phone is breaking up. We're getting half of what you're saying.
Oh, boy. I have a full signal.
Okay, that's better. Whatever you did, that's better.
Yeah, so basically, this earthquake situation that we've been undergoing this entire year, I mean, we've toppled over 40,000 earthquakes this year. And then, just the recent earthquakes in Italy have been absolutely devastating. So they say if there was a planet out there, or several planets, then we would be having some very severe issues on Earth. Well, the fact of the matter is, we are. 40,000 earthquakes in the course of a year is a lot. And now the frequency and the magnitude of these earthquakes are increasing. And I had a gentleman that's been sending me some information from Bulgaria. He's actually become a friend of mine. And he's kind of a political dissident of the country. And he has a lot of information. And he sent me a short video of, I think it was Italian rescuers in a helicopter. And they were literally flying across the, I think it's the Apennino mountain elevations, not too far from where the earthquakes just occurred. And there is a horizontal crack all the way across the top of the mountain range. And I mean, it is huge. So the force of these earthquakes, if they have the force to crack a mountain range from one end to the other at the very top, all it's going to take is one more devastating earthquake in that region, and that whole mountain range, the whole top of it, is going to come down. It's literally going to come down. And I've never seen this happen in my lifetime. Yeah, we've had some devastating earthquakes from time to time, but to see an entire mountain range cracked from one end to the other horizontally, absolutely incredible. And, you know, he got that video footage to me, but do we see it here in the United States? Absolutely not. They don't televise these types of things. But this, I do believe that this did make it to Italian television, and the earthquakes have been devastating there over the past week.
Okay, we've got, I don't have time to type in the chat, people. Could somebody type into the chat for me that if people are saying they're losing their audio, could you please type into the chat if you can't hear us to log out and log back in and you will regain your audio? Somebody please type that in for me. They're really screwing with this window tonight, let me tell you.
Okay. Earthquakes from the movie 2012, which leaked way too much information. The beginning earthquakes started at 10.6, and then they got larger and larger and larger. The movie 2012 told about Earth crust displacement because of the magnetic and electromagnetic pull from either one or all 8 of these satellites that are being seen in our skies right now, that the Earth's crust would shift over the mantle towards them. In the movie 2012, the crust only shifted 23 degrees, which would put Wisconsin up near what's normally the North Pole, but it was actually the South Pole because the magnetic shift also happened. In the WikiLeaks email from Don Smaltz to a whole bunch of people, he said the Earth's crust will shift 90 degrees. The WikiLeaks email, I have a copy of it. I've read it over and over again. It puts the movie 2012 to shame. It goes into greater detail than I ever thought they would ever release. Now, I know the powers that be, they have an idea of exactly what's going to happen. That's why they built all the deep underground military bases, the DUMS, and the emergency seed vaults. The seed vaults have one seed or one type, everything that's grown on the planet. 60 Minutes years ago did the Doomsday Seed Vault. They did that because they came across a very interesting list of people. The people who paid for the Svalbard Seed Vault up in Norway. It was a long list of the world's billionaires. I wonder if someone's name was on that list. If any of your listeners can come up with that list. I know the internet pulled down that list years ago, because I used to have a copy of it. So here's this person named Don Smaltz sending an email to John Podesta. Now, this Donald Smaltz must be highly ranking because he knew Hillary Rodham Clinton's email. Not everyone knows that, but Don Smaltz did. Now, WikiLeaks has been following whomever, Don Smaltz, John Podesta, Hillary Rodham Clinton, and a whole bunch of other people. This email came out in 2004, 0907, at 1806 time. It goes into great detail. Now, I can tear apart the movie. I can tell you what's going to be happening. When the Earth's crust starts to shift, everything is going to be down. Roads, bridges. You'll be lucky if you can hoof it from one spot to another. Yeah, I heard the whistle. I heard you. You'll be lucky if you can get from one place to the other with a backpack. That's how bad it will be. And that's how bad.
I said we're also going to have to deal with the nuclear meltdown with the nuclear plant. So one of the things that we need everybody to get are iodine pills.
Yes, iodine pills. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, medical supplies, bandages, all kinds of good stuff. I would go back to the liquid iodine, which is still available on the market. Because you're going to have
I've been trying to find that. Where do you find that? I did find a small bottle that someone was selling at a yard sale that they said they bought when they got it from their grandmother's medicine cabinet. But you can't go into a CVS or Walmart they don't carry it, liquid iodine.
You have to buy it online only. It's not carried by any of the current places.
Now, I know Emergency Essentials does sell the iodine tablets. They're a 2-week packet. When they first started selling them, they were $20 for the packet. Now they're $11. They've marked it down.
You cannot use that on your cuts or abrasions.
No, I'm talking about you've got to have iodine in your body to protect your thyroid from the nuclear meltdown.
That's right. Okay? All 3 accounts say the same thing. From China, Egypt, all 3 accounts say that rocks and stuff will be falling from the skies for over a week. They'll be smashing all the houses around the planet. Everyone will be on their own, living off the land. So you better have all kinds of emergency stuff. Bandages, iodine, liquid iodine for putting on cuts and scrapes. Because if you get any type of infection with no doctor, no hospital to go to, sorry.
Another thing that people are saying is if you take medication, you could stock up on it. Well, when you're getting a prescription, they're not going to allow you to get 8 months' worth of a prescription unless the doctor, you can tell him. One of the things you can do for that, and this is what my ex-in-laws used to do, is they would go to their doctor and tell them they're going to the Keys for 6 months. And so he would write them a 6-month prescription. So you might be able to say, go tell the doctor, well, I'm going on vacation out of the state. Could you, give me a prescription for 6 months? I don't know whether they'll fill 6 months' worth, but, for things like blood pressure, if you go to Botanic Choice, they have a blood pressure complex pill there. I did have a person that came on one of my shows that he was on blood pressure medicine. I got him off of his blood pressure medicine, and he was taking the blood pressure complex pill. So you might go to the Botanic Choice and stock up on that. Antibiotics.
The Native Americans survived very well indeed before the white man came over here. And now the Hopi term for the white man is Pohana. Okay? The Native Americans used all the native plants for all of their illnesses.
Right.
Everything you mentioned, a plant takes care of it too.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm saying go over to botanicchoice.com, and, you know, like for antibiotics, there's natural antibiotics. You can take garlic gel caps or oregano gel caps. Those are natural antibiotics. So, you know, if you want to find out some of the things that you need, go over there. They're really cheap, botanicchoice.com, and, you know, stock up on some of those things too, because you're not going to be walking into the drugstore.
Yes. You know, the problem is here, and I'll say it again, once everything starts to hit the sheet, you're not going to be able to go into any store because they're all going to be looted left and right for everything that will help them survive. So,
now, do you have any, because I got a couple of quick survival tips. I watched a lot of survival videos, and, you know, like people that are going to have canned goods with them, and supposedly you lose your can opener or you don't have any way to open a can. I don't know if a lot of people knew this or not, but you can take a can, turn it upside down, rub it on cement, and it will open. You can take your knife and just dig in there and flip it right open. If you rub it back and forth across the cement, it will break the seal. So there's things like that you need to, you know, possibly go over into YouTube and start watching some survival videos.
the best thing I would suggest, get to know the veterans, whether they're retired or whether they're still enlisted. Get to know them because they know how, with their military survival techniques, they were trained. They went out on what I think was used to be called bivouacs, where they had to live off the land out in the field for a week or two. They have the training. Get to know the veterans around you, the officers, the old enlisted personnel, because one thing is, when things start to happen, you're going to want to need their training, and hopefully they will help train you. Get to know your Native Americans. The Native Americans live off the land on a daily basis, 24/7. The white man doesn't live off the land anymore, although a lot of us still do up in the Adirondacks and other areas. They know how to hunt. They know how to make snares. You don't. They'll show you how to skin rabbits, how to skin squirrels. When there's no Safeway or Kroger's, you're going to be living off the land. No ifs, ands, or buts. That squirrel you saw yesterday was a real pretty squirrel. That makes a nice meal. When you have a meal in your tummy, you're going to sleep better that night. You don't have a meal in your tummy, you're going to be cold.
Okay, guys,
We're being hacked.
Hold on, I'm going to have to block everybody.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's not allowing Okay. Okay, I don't know if y'all can hear me, but somebody has taken my screen and moved it over so that I can't unmute you. So I am going to have to probably log out and log back in. Hold on, let me see if I can get it to scroll over. I apologize. Had to mute everybody. Sorry about that. Oh, God. I noticed that trolls were coming into the window, so I'm going to have to log out and log back in. So while I'm doing this, you guys, I know you can still hear me. I'm going to just keep talking so that there's no dead air here. Just be patient. Give me a few minutes. I knew this was going to happen. I mean, we were having problems right from the beginning. But like what I was saying about the Botanic Choice, just go to botanicchoice.com, and and they send you a book when you order, and in the book it tells you what exactly everything is for. So say you have a blood pressure problem, there's a couple pages in there, it says blood pressure. So, just go and look on there and see what you can get to order. There's all different things, hold on. There's all different things in the book. Like if you have a high cholesterol problem, they have a page for that. And also essential oils, too. Those are good for healing. So, check that out. The other site, like I said, is emergencyessentials.com. They have the radio, the crank radio that Robert was talking about. They also have the iodine tablets. Bear with me here. I'm trying to talk and do stuff at the same time. God, they won't even let me log back in. Hold on. I don't know what that was all about, but we'll get it back on track. Just bear with us, and I'll get you all unmuted again. And they wouldn't be doing this to us if we weren't, telling stuff that they don't want out there. Let's see if I'm still logged in here. I know I want to let you all know that next week I will be having David Mead in. I don't know if you all know about David Mead. I love his book because he aligns the planets up with the constellation of the stars, and he comes up with a timeline. So you want to join me then. It'll be a great show. See if I can get back into the window. Oh, it's blocking me again. Let's try it again. All right, I'm back. All right, let me see if I can get the chat opened up. God, talk about a pain. Yep, everybody's blocked. Okay, let's start with just unmuting you this way. Because the last time I hit the unmute all, and it's going to take a minute, that's when we got the troll in here. So let's just give me a minute. Let me go down and get Scott and Robert unmuted. Are you with me, Robert?
Yay!
I'm here.
How about you, Scott?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Sorry about that. Somebody was doing something to us, weren't they?
Sure they were.
I actually noticed one of my nemesis debunkers are in the chat by the YouTube channel name Astronomy Live. I call them Astrology Live.
Well, see, and I muted him because he was on the phone and he was unmuted.
Yeah.
And I muted him, and after I muted him, that's when we had the. So I just hit the mute everybody. Sorry, you guys had to mute you all, but I think you're all unmuted now.
Yeah, let me give you a little background on these individuals, because I had a long telephone conversation with Marshall Masters about 2 weeks ago, and about a month ago, I had these debunker individuals come after me pertaining to a video that I had uploaded, and it showed a planet orbiting the sun in, I think it was about less than 24 hours. It was, less than 24 hours. And this Soho video footage was sent to me by a lady who was keeping in contact with me and sending me information by email for about a month. And she sent me this video, and she said, you know, you're going to want to sit down whenever you watch this video. So I watched it, and I was very intrigued by it, so I decided to put it into a video, and I did just that. And no sooner than the video went up, I think it was a few hours later, I was contacted by this Planet X debunker, as he calls himself, Dave Daza the Cameraman, has a YouTube channel. He caused all kinds of problems for Marshall Masters, anyone who does anything pertaining to Planet X, and, you know, Nemesis and the Nibiru. He goes in and he debunks the video with all of this technical talk. And he has a few henchmen also on YouTube. And Dave Gregg is his name. He is located in New Zealand, and he has quite a history. So I dug into his past and found that he's basically a government troll. That's exactly what he is. And through some other investigating, I found out that he's basically paid to debunk these videos, to create disinformation and doubt, and he's on the payroll of a Luciferian group out of Switzerland. And that's a fact. And the troll that you have there in your chat, his name's Scott Ferguson. He is an amateur, so-called amateur astronomer, and he has a YouTube channel called Astronomy Live. And the video that I put up of this planet orbiting the sun in such a very, very quick orbit, very large planet, they told me that it was the moon, our moon, to planet Earth, orbiting the sun all by itself. And this Daza, the cameraman, Luciferian troll, was very, nice with me, and he told me a story about a young 12-year-old girl that had committed suicide back in 2012 because she just couldn't handle the storyline of 2012 and the demise of the world. So he basically was trying to put me on a guilt trip and told me that I should take the video down and that he would prove to me that planet was our moon, orbiting the sun all by itself. Now, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a professional astronomer. But I dug into the background of this video footage from Soho, or I think it was like a Core 2 image. And, I started putting some numbers together myself. And nothing that they said made any sense. So, Robert, you've been doing this for quite a long time. You're an intelligent man. Have you ever heard of our moon orbiting the sun all by itself?
Nope.
Exactly. So ever since I posted that video and that very rare footage that no one's ever really seen, they have been all over me like cancer, like leeches, and literally taking every single one of my videos and debunking it and making their own videos and just wreaking havoc on my YouTube channel.
It's called mass disinformation.
Exactly. And I've dug into these people, and old Daza the cameraman, well, he takes donations by PayPal on his YouTube channel. Well, I go and I dig a little bit more, and I find that the government uses PayPal through other handlers to pay their disinformationalists. So he's not squeaky clean at all. He's a very nasty individual.
A lot of my friends that were down in South America, they were all complaining that their governments were trying to get NASA to tell them the information. But the United States and Canada are under a mass disinformation program, keeping all this stuff off the news media until the last minute.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you won't find any astronomer, professional, definitely no professional astronomer. You won't find any observatory that is going to allow access, to the observatory. They won't help you because I was given some information. Basically, they're not going to get any more federal grants from the government. So they were told, this is the deal. You keep your mouth shut or you will not receive any more money for your research, for your observatory. And I guess they were placed under these, federal non-disclosure agreements, probably threatened also. And the same applies for the news media. Nothing that you could watch on CNN, I don't believe at all.
No. The observatories around the planet are under the control of the Jesuits and the Vatican. That has been set in place a long time ago. That's why all this stuff has been under a very tight control, just as was shown in the movie 2012. When that one character from Cheers, he became a congressman. He's sitting there, he's pulling down one screen after the other of all these people that are dead. There's a long list of astronomers who mysteriously died or disappeared.
Yeah, I just recently did a video about
yes.
these astronomers. I think we're up to 125 to date.
Yes. Now, in the movie 2012, the guy from the Louvre was mysteriously killed. That part was taken from the death of Robert S. Harrington, Naval Institute. You see, after the NASA people went off the records and spoke about this thing that was seen well out beyond Pluto with the brand new infrared satellite, 4 to 8 times the size of the planet Earth. And these people off the wall, when they received the information, didn't wait for the NASA officials. And they called press conferences. And they talked about this thing being seen by the IRIS satellite, a brand new infrared satellite, in the right position, looking in the right direction. A huge heat signature. So they jumped off the wall. They did news conferences to a lot of major papers and stuff. Then when the NASA officials got back online, they pulled all the stories. But in official scientific reviews, they were still showing that they were looking for something out beyond Pluto. Because the official reviews showed these other 2 spacecraft were heading out there. They weren't the Voyagers, they were the earlier ones. And at a certain point, one spacecraft went above the ecliptic looking for something. The other one went below the ecliptic looking for something. They were looking for Nemesis. And they found it. I've got the photograph showing it with 6 of its planets. Nemesis orbits around our solar system. According to a video on YouTube called Nemesis, our sun's evil twin, it talks about it. It goes around once every...
That's a good video. Real good video.
Yes, it is. It goes around once every 26 million years. Now, a friend of mine has been sharing videos, pictures from I think an Egyptian type person. And there's been a huge glare on the horizon. A humongous glare on the horizon in his photographs. Our sun doesn't do this. He's been telling me for a long time, Bob, you're not listening to me. That's Nemesis. And I think he's correct. I hate to admit it. That we're seeing the glow from this brown dwarf star. See, in that video, Nemesis, the sun's evil twin, the main scientist says that he has found enough data to link Nemesis to mass extinctions all around the planet every 26 million years. Now, where are we in that time scale now? I don't know. I tried emailing this guy, and he thought I was bullshitting. He said I wasn't looking at the right thing.
Well, when I interviewed John Moore, he said we're overdue from the 3,600 years.
Well, the 3,600 years is right about right now.
Right. And when I interviewed him last year, according to his contacts from the military insiders that he knows, we are, I think he said, in between 100 years being over. So we are overdue.
Okay. An ancient Chinese account, China, Mozi, M-O-Z-I, in his book 5, which is up on the internet from China, has English translations. He says that certain things happened right around 1600 BC. And everything that's mentioned in that account is identical to what happened over Egypt during the Exodus. And the Exodus has been firmly dated now to 1613 BC. Ipawer, an ancient Egyptian scribe, in his entire detailed account of the Exodus of the Hebrews out of Egypt, clearly mentions volcanic ash was falling over Egypt during this Exodus. The only volcano erupting during that time was the ancient Greek island of Thera. We now call it Santorini. It erupted for how many days, and then the volcano blew itself apart, blowing the island apart. We're seeing huge amounts of volcanic activity all around the planet. In the WikiLeaks email, very clearly in there, there'll be huge amounts of volcanic activity, volcanoes exploding, doing this, doing that. All three accounts, volcanoes erupted. I'm sorry, the ancient records are still in existence. From China to Egypt to the Hopis. The Hopis said very clearly, the Hopi third world ended by water. That was Noah's flood, 12,900 plus minus years ago.
Mhm.
Another name Noah went by was Sayasudra. In Zachariah Sitchin's book, The Lost Book of Enki, after the ark landed on the two mountains of Ararat, Enlil, which was his brother, which was in charge of the planet, their half-sister, which I've never been able to pronounce her name correctly, and Enki went down to survey the damage to the earth. Enlil saw the ark and saw humans with a huge bonfire praising the gods. All the humans were supposed to have been wiped out with the Aeges. But there was humans. Enlil was enraged. Enki, now this is Zachariah Sitchin's account. Enki told very clearly, I could not let my son die. Sayasudra was one of Enki's sons. He makes it very clear, I could not let my son die. I had to warn him. Their half-sister calmed down Enlil and made a promise, a very severe promise, that